Hi, everybody. Welcome to Thursday, July 15th. Not July, January. Wow, I'm way
Whoa,
ahead.
you just jumped
I'm
over.
just like,
You're ready to go. You're ready for summer.
let's do this. January. No, we're in January, but it's amazing that it's the 15th already. It's amazing. But Rachel, welcome back. How are you feeling?
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, doing better. I'm a little raspy, so
Mm,
sorry that if you
mm,
guys won't be able to totally hear my voice. It breaks out.
We missed you. We missed you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, yes. So here in this first month of 2026, first month of the year, we have been talking, kind of reflecting on this past year and the improvements that we've made in our health, the steps in the right direction, no matter how small, and what we started, maybe habits we started, maybe habits that we let go of. And now I think we're at a point where we want to kind of look to our future and think about, dreaming for the next year.
Yeah. Yeah. The last time I was on the show with you, we were kind of introducing this new year and the concept of using the whole month of January
Mhm.
to, kind of the concept of a New Year's resolution, but it's going to be so much bigger than that. We're inviting you to do a lot of reflection, kind of doing a little bit of a self audit over your past year, over 2025. And now this week, and with the hopes that everybody, by the time we enter February, everyone listening, and ourselves included, we have sort of a word or a phrase of the year
Mm.
that's going to really be this guiding light. This, what am I looking more? What do I want more of in my life? And this is
Mhm.
kind of this phrase. And so we'll talk more about that in the weeks to come. But we get to use the month of January to process all of this and
Mm.
to gently invite ourselves into some of this decision making rather than feeling like you have to make a decision on January 1st or you
Right.
have to have all of your goals figured out. And
Yeah.
so the last couple of weeks have been about reflection and about sort of
Mhm.
that audit. And this week we want to invite you into the renewal phase, kind
Mm.
of the idea of reinventing. So now
Mm.
we're inviting you into this dreamy design state for the year. Um, One of the ways I talk about it in coaching is to, um, the things that didn't serve you. We talked about making a list of what didn't serve me, what was life draining, and what were the life giving things. So you've got two lists. And from those lists, can you go through now this next year and remove instances of the life draining? Can you go
Mm.
through and take out certain things, or maybe it's certain commitments you have that you're ready to kind of phase yourself out of? And then can you look at the year and what could you add more of that you really liked? What things from last year were really good for you and you want to build more of that in? So you're looking on how to design it into this new year.
Right. Yeah. You want to keep doing the things that, added
Mm.
value and aligned with your values, and look for ways to grow that. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is
Yeah.
really important to really, I like this idea of processing, because sometimes we just, well, I'm going to speak for myself. I guess I should just speak for myself. Sometimes I just rush ahead without,
Mhm.
really thinking about details and thinking about, the commitment and thinking about, I'll give you for example.
Mhm.
Last year, I might have said this already, so I apologize for repeating myself, but last year I said, I'm playing the piano,
Yeah.
and yeah, and I bought a book and I signed up for a lesson, and, and I tuned my piano. And so, I mean, I did the little steps. Um, However, I really didn't think through the time that it would take for me to play the way I had pictured myself playing in my
Mm.
head. In my head, I'm this concert pianist going on tour. They're calling me and asking me to come play for them. And
I
I'm
love
saying, sure, sign be there. And I'm, being whisked away, and here, hither, and yon. And so, so I'm dreaming,
it.
big,
Mm.
which is
Mhm.
great. On the other hand, I'm not really identifying the cost of that.
Yeah. You're touching on a really important concept that that coaches work with and deal with, and it's actually something. It's actually a little bit of a controversy, or there's a little bit of contrarianism here.
Hmm.
As a coach, we're really encouraged to invite the client or the patient into dreaming and designing, because people who have life purpose and life meaning and are looking towards a goal, they're 2.5 times less likely for risk of early death. I
Mm.
just actually heard this statistic. So if by the time you're 50, if you're living with meaning and purpose, you have a lower risk of early death. So um, living with these dreams, these big audacious dreams, is part of what makes us human. It's what differentiates us from the animal world. It gives us a levity of feeling and emotion. But the problem with dreams sometimes are multiple fold. One, we go too big, or we forget that the big dream is out here somewhere in the future. It's going to take some time to get there. And meanwhile, there are 1 million, no fewer than 1 million steps and tiny little steps, little cobblestones to slowly get yourself there. So this is an important thing. Another thing that we find with, and so when our goal is too big and we forget to build that process in, it can feel like we beat ourselves up, the inner critic, and we feel ashamed or embarrassed or discouraged, and we quit. We quit by January 18th. That's why people quit. That's like the universal, yeah, okay, quitting. So tell us more about your piano, okay, to see how this aligns.
Well, I went to my first lesson, all excited and ready to go, and even practiced a little bit of, a few things beforehand. And the deal is I had to play in front of somebody. Yeah, I had to play in front of the teacher. And that was super vulnerable. I mean, super vulnerable. I had no idea I would be so nervous.
Wow.
Anyway, so I went home, and then I said, give it every, throw the book at me. Give me everything you got. Okay. I mean, she did what I asked her to do. So, I mean, she gave me scales. She gave me sight reading. She gave me, whatever, Chopin concerto in E minor, she gave me, yeah. So, I mean, talk about the rung on my ladder
Mhm.
was just out of my reach. So every time I sat down at the piano, I just felt really frustrated. Plus, it's an old piano, and I couldn't get the B, um, and from the C to upper C, middle C to upper C. That B could not get in tune. And anyway, every time I played a B,
An obstacle. This is a clear obstacle. It's overcomable and deal withable, but still annoying and off-putting and distracting and discouraging, right? This is like our health journey. We have those B keys. We have those B keys that won't work. And we
I
feel
know,
like
they're just out of tune.
we're out of tune.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is a great picture of
It really is.
these things that get into. So I did go to the next lesson, and played ever so not well, imperfectly.
Mhm.
Because I had the expectation of, oh, well, I played the piano before. I'm going to pick it right back up, and I'm going to be this expert. And I didn't, so looking back, I didn't give myself grace or time to become better, those cobblestone steps. So yeah, it got overwhelming. And
Mhm.
so I didn't schedule the next
Mm.
Yeah, it's so funny, how and then I had some feedback from other people which was not mean or anything, but the way I received it,
Mhm.
just kinda poured whatever water on my fire, and
Right.
it's just I allowed my fire to get snuffed out.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a really interesting comparison, a really great maybe analogy or whatever the word is for kind of, helping us see this idea, this concept of the new year, resolutions, dreams, but it could be any time of year when you're
Yeah,
planning to make a change.
right.
And so for some coaches, they won't even ask a client to set a goal.
Mm.
Rather, I mean, maybe small short-term goals, but rather than building these big giant goals that
Right.
feel out of reach,
Mhm.
once you really, get in the car and try to start to drive, you realize this is a really big goal. And rather just thinking smaller, but by doing inventory. So by talking about this, if you were working with a coach, a piano coach to help you guide you through the piano learning journey, that person might have slowed you way down and said,
Mm.
let's dream the big goal, but now let's bring this down into some action. And even
Mhm.
talking about it, you're seeing where the steps were too big. You were leaping over, and that's what our brain does. We have this beautiful ability to dream big and to create what we want, but we forget what it takes to get there. So
Mhm.
with this, so for you, summarize how this applies to the year planning, the
Mm.
New Year's resolution, the word of the year, and what we've been doing with this
Mhm.
reflection, and now we're doing more reinventing or renewing
Mhm.
the new year. How does
Right,
it
right,
apply
right.
for you?
Right. So, yeah, so going back then to this desire that I
Mhm.
have to play the piano, that hasn't gone, just kinda looking back and reflecting that it's still there. It's
Mm,
still there, and I walk by the piano every day.
mm.
Yeah, so it's still there, and I am wondering, so I'm in the contemplative
Yeah.
stage. Yes. If there is still, um, piano playing in my future,
Mm,
and then maybe what I need to do is say, "Okay, why do I wanna play the piano?" Kinda dig a little deeper. What do I wanna get out of playing the piano?
ah,
How much time is practical for me to dedicate to piano playing?
mhm.
Do I wanna be able to sit down and sight read? Do I wanna play by ear? Do I wanna play chords? Maybe I
Yeah,
don't have to do all of that. Maybe I can
right.
decide what I like best and then focus on that.
Mm.
Yeah, and so,
Maybe I just want
and
to play a couple specific songs, right? So
yeah,
for some
may
people, they just wanna be able to play a couple of songs that they love to sing with or to entertain with, and they just wanna
Mhm,
memorize those couple songs. But I
mhm,
love what you're doing here. What you're doing is basically this process of slowing down and becoming
mhm,
mindful and inviting the wise mind
mm,
to mediate between your emotional mind and
mhm,
your reasonable mind. Those are the
mm,
extremes. All are
mm,
good. Emotion, reason, and wisdom are all important and valuable. But the wise mind just came in and slowed you way down. She went,
mm,
hold on, you guys.
mhm,
What am I really doing here? And that is why I love the idea of taking the whole month of January. But really, to
mm,
apply this more broadly, it's taking time before we make decisions. Why
mm,
do I want to get healthy? What do I want by the end of the year? Do I even have
mm,
time to make those dreams come true? What would I be what would I be pleasantly surprised about if I could accomplish this? You know,
mhm,
um, what is doable and why am I doing this? And you even asked the question, you answered it, but this was an important question. Do I still want to play the piano?
mhm,
You have every right and you easily could say, It's too much. Not right. Maybe in 5 more years when my life slows down and changes again. But maybe I'm going to put it on the back burner and I'm going to open my year up to other things that feel more accessible. That's massive when it comes to
Yeah.
designing your year.
Right. Yeah. And then because you're giving yourself permission and then you're not sitting around walking by the piano feeling guilty.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So many of these things have a way of just beating us up day after day because we've never actually made a decision. We've let the brain ping pong what we think we should do, but we never actually decided, are you or aren't you? Stop the indecision and make a decision about it.
Yeah, that's right. Making the decision. Yeah. And knowing that your future, the future me could, self-correct or, tweak or whatever. But yeah, you're the person that, and replacing that rumination about it with what action or a decision or, yeah.
Even if the decision is, I can't make a decision yet, then the brain can't really beat you up for that because you've decided I'm in a state of indecision. So I'm gonna sit with that until new information comes in, until I'm able to make a decision. But that is a decision. Not making a decision is a decision, but only call it what it is, right?
Right. Yeah. Instead of this constant going around. I have a thought about that. Hold on.
Okay. If you guys are listening at home, I'd love to hear some comments. Type something in the chat. What are you hearing that's resonating with you or feeling informative or helpful? Please respond back so we know what is hitting for you guys. And the comments help inspire our conversations.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So I'm replacing one, rumination or an indecision with one small experiment.
Yeah, one small experiment. And this is that process of, so we're going to call this the renewal. So we were talking about reflection. Now we're talking about renewal and reinvention. So this is the process by which, so for this next week, we're asking you guys and ourselves to decide what gets refreshed from last year and kind of re-popped in and what gets reinvented. What about the things we tried to do last year? Maybe you do want piano to be part of this year again, but you're going to reinvent the way that you go about it, the way that your brain thinks about it, what you believe it is and isn't. You're going to change the expectations and desire because you're going to more fully define it.
Yeah.
And this is for our health too, not just our
right, just the piano. Right, exactly. Yeah. Right. Yes. So important. Yeah, important things to redefine, reinvent. I love those are great words. Refresh.
Yeah, refresh, redefine, renew, reinvent, and hopefully this process for those of you guys listening feels hopeful. And the question then is, well, what's possible? What is doable this next year? What feels hopeful? And so often I hear that response and that exclamation from people when we have narrowed the focus, when we have pulled out things and narrowed down what is possible and small, tiny cobblestone steps, suddenly people go, okay, yeah, this I can do. And often from that phase, now the brain invents ways for you to accomplish the very same thing you were trying to do last year, but it feels like it actually can. And so it actually starts to help you be more efficient at doing this and more action-based.
Good. So good.
Yeah.
All right, Rachel. Well, so we'll be thinking about these things and coming back next week and talking some more about that. And in the meantime, tell us what's for dinner.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to actually announce this here for the first time, and I'll be putting it on my socials and on my Facebook, and all my clients will be hearing about it. But we just temporarily moved to Arizona for a 10-week art show that my husband is in, the Celebration of Fine Art. It's an artist in residency.
Are you in a
And
new place?
I am. We're in this little
Ooh.
rental condo. So yes, there's a cactus painting right behind
Oh, I
me.
see that. I see that.
Yeah. It's a little, the background is blurry, but so on our drive over, as we were moving, my husband and I were thinking about this adventure, and we want to use this as an opportunity to kind of reinvent ourselves and kind of do a next level up with our health and some adventure things, especially since we'll have access to different things here. And one of our goals is to cook through the new cookbook you got me for Christmas.
Oh, cool.
Let me show you.
All right. Oh, yay. New recipe.
Here it
Oh,
is.
okay.
Food
There
for
must
Life
have been
book.
some really good things in there. Oh, yeah. Tim
Yeah.
Spector, one of my faves.
Tim Spector. It's going to be all about, but from Zoe, and there's 100 recipes. And so we thought we loved the best strategy for our health journey, especially when we went plant-based, was to pick a cookbook and just cook through it. Like every meal, sort of cook through it. And that was how we really dove into how to cook these, how to transform. So I want to try to document our journey through this, and
How
maybe
cool.
invite people to cook with us and to try some of the recipes. And I'm excited that this will expand our whole food, sort of repertoire, and invite some new foods in, and really get us thinking more about fiber. Because on every cookbook, on every recipe page, I don't know if you can see this, but he tells you how much fiber is in the recipe,
Oh, yeah.
and how many plant points you get.
Oh, so
Doesn't that-
cool. That looks gorgeous.
That looks so good. Yeah. So I've already got some recipes in mind, and we're going to have to do some, shopping and for some new recipe or new ingredients. But so for tonight, one of them was a couscous pomegranate salad. So I think that's for dinner tonight. I can't remember what else was in it. There was a lot of stuff, but my husband happened to pick up pomegranate seeds at the grocery store. So that's
Okay, awesome.
yeah.
Cool.
How about you? What's for dinner?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was a few days off my base salad, and I was, walking around thinking, what's wrong? There's something off. I don't get it. It was like, Julie, you haven't re-upped your base salad, I just miss it.
Yes. Isn't that so funny?
It's so funny. Like something isn't can't put my base salad. So yeah, I refreshed my base salad, and then we have some beautiful salmon that I will put in there for protein. So pretty simple, kind of, some people might call it boring, but anyway, it's chock full of nutrients and omega-3, and I feel full and satisfied. Yum.
Yes. Yes. You know that some of the strongest habits of people who have lost weights and successfully maintained it off for over a year, this is in research, is people who kind of eat boring. They don't, truly, they sort of eat the same things over and over again. Why? Because they figured out what works, because they know how to quickly shop for it, quickly prep for it, and quickly make it. And of course, you can diversify what's in your salad.
Yeah.
That's where the variety comes from.
Mhm.
But when we're trying to search less for what do I feel like eating, and more about what serves my body, what nourishes me, what feels good to my body, less about what do I feel like eating, and more like, how do I want to feel after I've eaten?
Yes. Paying attention by taking a break and eating, and then eating with intention, with the intention that you want to feel better once you've eaten. Yeah. I think Michelle May really talks about that a lot.
With that, with mindful eating and awareness. We ask anybody, what do you feel like eating? And oftentimes it'll be all sorts of things. And usually they're not healthy. Like, what do you feel like? Well, we're trying to nourish an emotion or a state of mind, or we're trying to use food to solve a certain problem or distract us or entertain us. And there's nothing wrong with that per se, but usually when we come from the question of how do I want to feel once I've eaten, that question, I always know the answer to what I'm going to eat. That's a no-brainer of if how I want to feel. So I love that kind of switch with it. And the base salad serves you in that way.
Yeah, it's great. It's
There
great.
you go.
All right. Well, we'll see you again. Glad you made it safely to
Thank
your
you.
new spot. And
Yes.
yeah, we'll look forward to hearing from your adventures and then learning more about your recipes from that cookbook. I'm so glad that there's lots of good stuff in there.
So much.
I have that book. I have the companion book. I'm looking because I don't see it here, but it's somewhere.
Mhm.
It's somewhere. And yeah, so maybe once you're done, we could do a switch-o, change-o.
Ooh, love it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, you stay warm, and I'm so glad you're feeling better and
Thank
not too warm. It's hot out. What's the temperature where you are?
It's 80 degrees.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. The sun, at least the sun is out.
Yeah, you guys, Oregon's been having some great weather. So, yes. All right, everybody, take care. I'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.